Hello, good morning. How are we doing today? To think that 2024 is coming to an end. Wow. So let me warmly welcome everyone who has joined so early. And let me say congratulations for coming early. Of course, there's always that blessing that comes with being early. I believe you get one. Okay, so let me warmly welcome you again to our very last webinar for 2024. This is Life Inspired Academy. Yes, we do this every year. We try to do something to cap the year up, to help people to reflect, to help people to see what they got out of the current year, and then how can they prepare for the incoming year. I think this is really important. For the people who are new here, yes, this is Life Inspired Academy. As I said, the parent company is Stance Consulting Limited, and this program is fully sponsored by Stance Consulting Limited. Now at Stance, we run corporate programs for ministries, departments, and agencies of government. We also run programs for NGOs and the private sector. So, but at Life Inspired Academy, we do one-on-one programs or up close and personal programs like this for individuals who are looking to self-develop. Okay, so my name is Atinuke Oyewumi, and I'm the Chief Learning Officer at Stance Consulting Limited. I'm also the founder of Life Inspired Academy. So I will be with us today. Okay, I notice network is a bit slow today, but I trust that it will support us even as we go ahead. Yes, so we're going to get into the business of the day quite quickly because we have a long journey ahead. If you're in here, you want to type in where you're joining in from, our distinguished participants who have joined at this time. Do you want to tell us where you're joining from? If you wish, you can tell us what your name is, even though I think the names are displayed on our profile. Yes. Oh, Princess from Port Harcourt, you're welcome. I know some people have said they're in meetings this morning and they may not be able to join. So we're hoping to be able to get the recording across to them. Who else is in the room? Where are you joining from? Oh, wow, Miss Happiness from Indonesia. It's good to see you. You're most welcome. All right, that's great. Okay, yes, I think we have a few people in the room now, and we're just going to get started. Someone has raised their hand. Do you want to tell us something? Do you want to ask a question? I will encourage that we use the chat box for now so that we can minimize distraction in as we run the session. Tim, you have your hand raised. Do you want to ask a question or do you want to type that question in the chat box? Okay, I guess he has a challenge with his network. Okay, so let's get started. As I said, this is an opportunity for us to do an assessment of 2024 and then also try to think ahead as we move into 2025. I think it's been such an unprecedented year for many people. I would say for all of us, because we all are here, in short, all over the world, the kind of changes that the world has seen in 2024 are quite, the impact is quite much. So let's start with this. Let's start with, a brief assessment of what we did in 2024. I'll start with a very short story. I remember when my daughter was in secondary school, my first girl was in secondary school. She had this teacher who was always, always, on her neck to just for her to get the best out. And then, of course, she would usually complain, oh, God, this man is so overbearing, you know. And then, so there was a time they were preparing for a particular exam, and the man had called me and said, Madam, I wanted to know how you're supporting your child to write this exam. That question came like a surprise to me, like, okay. I said, well, yes, I'm supporting her. I mean, I make her study and all of that. But then he wouldn't take it. The next thing he asked me was, Madam, what I'm asking you is, in concrete terms, how are you helping this girl? Now, that sounded differently. That hit in a very different way. When he said in concrete terms, I was forced to think. And then, of course, I, couldn't answer just immediately. And then from that point, do you know that I've always looked at productivity differently? Because for me, I think sometimes we just hit the day, we get to do things. But every time I ask myself, in concrete terms, Tinu, what did you achieve? Now that's different. Okay. So that's that statement there. And I'm borrowing it to use it this morning because I want you to use that statement or that phrase to reflect on the year that is running out. Okay. And some of the questions that I would want you to ask yourself would be, in 2024, okay, what were your goals? What were your goals for the year? Just try to reflect. What did you set out to achieve in 2024? Now, what did you do? What did you achieve that you're proud of? Of all of those things you said you were going to do, are there some things that you're really, really proud of yourself right now that, wow, I can give myself a pat on the back. I did A, B, C, D. In concrete terms, remember, okay? Another point of reflection here is, how do you think you could have done better? I mean, they say that the largest room in the world is the room for improvement. How do you think you could have done better in 2024? Okay? So this is just for you to cast your mind back from January till now. We need to first of all thank God that we are still alive and we still have a sound mind. Only a sound mind can reflect. And then we should reflect and ask, what did we do in 2024? How did we make use of all of those days and all of those, hours that were delivered to us? Okay, so let me cut short your reflection so that we can move ahead. I would really encourage after the session that you take some time to still reflect on how the year went for you. All right, so this is what our session map looks like for today. We're going to shortly look at what I call the psychology of time. Also, I'm going to share with us, from my own experience, a few progress stoppers. I call them progress stoppers, okay? And then we're going to really deal with this thing that they call average, the enemy called average. I'm sure some of us have read that book, An Enemy Called Average. I read it, a long time ago, but something happened yesterday that brought up average again, which I'm going to share with us shortly. And then, of course, I'm going to share with us a formula for getting things done. Remember, we're here to master how to get things done. And then, of course, the reason we came here is to gain clarity and inspiration for the incoming year, to gain clarity and inspiration for 2025. That's the main objective here today. So let's talk about the psychology of time. One of the things that you will notice about time is that time is neutral. Indeed, time is neutral. And I'm saying that because at the beginning of this year, some people set goals, okay? And they really achieved their goals. Some people exceeded their targets. Some people did not set goals, okay? And of course, they probably just went anywhere the current took them. But the fact is, at the end of the day, we all are here. So time will happen to us, but it is what we do with time that makes the difference. It is what we do with time that makes the difference. So this is why we say time is neutral. And then how you spend your time is what matters. Okay, I hope that the network is still working for you. If you can still see me and you can still hear me, please just type in the chat box so that you let me know that you can still see and hear me. All right. So as I said, time is neutral. And someone once told me, you are your time converted. You are your time converted, meaning at the end of the day, who you are is what you have done with your time. All right, so that's the first point about time. The second point I want to share about time, of course, is that time is life. Time is life. I often joke and say, when someone says, don't waste my time, they're basically saying, don't waste my life, okay? It dawned on me at some point that our life, the entire life is delivered to us in blocks of time, okay? Blocks of seconds or minutes or hours. So anyone who hasn't really mastered how to get value out of time will find it difficult to maximize their life. If you haven't mastered how to get value out of time, you may wind up somewhere later in the years that you don't like, okay? Because time flies, it just goes by. And as it's going by, it's your life that is going by. Indeed, our lives. So it's important that we have this mindset. Why? So that we can maximize time. I remember many years ago, I was maybe in my 20s, and I had picked up a job somewhere. I was working with an Indian man, and I had a colleague who said, Tinu, you know, this job is really not the kind of job I want. I'm just here to while away time. I'm sure you've heard something like that before. Some people believe, oh, I don't have what I would have loved to have right now, so I'm whiling time away. There is no such thing as whiling time away, okay? If you had set goals at the beginning of 2024 that you achieved right now, you would be a year older. If you did not set goals and you did not achieve anything, you will still be a year older. If you aren't yet a year older, before this year runs out, somewhere, somehow, you would clock another year, okay? So this lets us understand that time is of essence, really. Okay, so in talking about getting things done, really, we need the ability to get things done. And if you look at this image here, I'm going to show us something I got, you know, from a book I bought yesterday, where the man broke it down and said, for you to get things done, you need focus. You need your head, okay? You need to engage your head. And if you're engaging your head, it means you have focus for what you're doing. He also went ahead to say, you need your spine to get things done. You need your spine to get things done. Okay? And then, of course, what else do you need to get things done? You need your hands and feet. Your spine is self-discipline. Your spine is self-discipline here. So if you're trying to do things without self-discipline, it's almost like one is spineless. You can't get anything done without self-discipline. You need your hands and feet to get things done, meaning you need to take action. And as Tony Robbins would say, You need massive action to gain traction. You need massive action. It isn't just a few things, but many, many things, before you can get enough. Okay, we're going to talk about action a lot today. And then again, it goes ahead to say you need persistence. This comes from your heart. How many times have people started things and they abandoned them? Or should I say, by show of hand, tell me if you have started something before that you abandoned. All hands will go up, definitely. So at some point for you, this may just be a habit. You don't finish what you start. But you can get to that point where you say, what exactly stops me from following through? Because that's what this slide is speaking to us, your ability to follow through. You may start something, maybe you're courageous enough to start. But that courage you used to start, it needs to be sustained, because when you face challenges, the easiest thing to do is to abandon what you started. Okay, so let me ask you, which of these did you massively engage in your quest to get things done in 2024? How focused were you? How persistent were you? And did your hands and your feet take you to where things will happen? One of the days in this year, I had gone to NMPC to, follow up on some things. And I saw a colleague of mine, a senior colleague, now they're renovating and you have to walk all the way back. And I saw him quite, older than me. He was walking briskly and, moving. I said, wow, see, Oga. But what occurred to me was he's letting his feet take him to where things would happen. Okay? Someone could sit in the office and wait for things to happen, but no, he got up. He said, let me get up and go and follow up. Okay? All right. Again, self-discipline. How disciplined were you as you tried to get things done? We're going to talk also a lot about discipline today. So let's quickly move to what I call the progress stoppers. And you would soon understand why this will stop your progress. The first one is waiting to feel confident. If you want to get something done, there's that difference between confidence and courage. And I'm going to touch on it, just very soon now. You're not going to be confident before you start. Okay, you're going to be courageous, but confidence comes in a different way, and I'll share with us. Another progress stopper is when you're not learning. When you're not learning, you cannot make progress. This is why people abandon their projects, because you max out what you know. The moment you've exhausted your knowledge base on anything, you can't move forward. You can't make progress. So learning is crucial to our ability to get things done. I was speaking to a friend of mine, also a very old friend of mine. We had not seen in many years, and we saw just a few days ago. So he was sharing with me how many things he had tried to do, and of course, many of those things were successful. He started an NGO, a non-governmental organization, some years back. And he told me, he said, when I started, I just did anything that occurred to me. I didn't understand that there were dynamics to the NGO world. He said after struggling and failing and getting frustrated, one day he got up to look for a mentor and was lucky to find someone. He said, do you know that I sat for 1 year learning from those people? It wasn't that he shut down. He didn't shut down. He said he had structured learning. So there were days he would go there, sit down. And as was talking, he said there was a woman who used to train them. And he said to him, he felt like that woman knew everything. But later he reflected that this is experience speaking. This is where she invested her time. This is what she has mastery over. And she knew it. So why not learn from such a person? Okay. So basically what I'm trying to say is when we're not learning, we get stuck. Some years back, I bought a book by Mike Murdock. Mike is a religious teacher. And one of the things in that book, Mike said, people fail more because of broken focus. A lot of things in the world can make you fail, but more of the failure that we experience happen because of broken focus. there's someone I work with, and I've known this person for a number of years, and I've watched that person struggle to get things done. We were having a meeting last week, and at the end of that meeting, I told myself, Tinuke, it's not fair that you don't tell this person that she breaks our focus. Because 6 years ago, we sat down to have a plan to say, oh, this is what we're going to do. And between then and now, this person and their organization, they've not been able to do anything tangible. Why? It's because of something they call shiny object syndrome. You have a plan, you want to do something, and then a newer idea comes, and you cannot curb your appetite for that new idea. Then you start to pursue that. Or something that seems bigger than what you're doing. One of the things that I've learned over the years, no matter how small what I want to do is, I do it and I see it through. Then I scale it. To me, I think that is better than always wanting to start with something big. Okay, so when you start and you stop and you break your focus, you really will not be able to get things done. I hope you're gaining something from here. And I hope you're thinking and reflecting about yourself, because this class is about you now and your ability to get things done. Yes, I'm sharing this. I call it mismanaged temperament. We would often say no temperament is the best. Okay, some people are introverts, some people are extroverts. But when you do not understand yourself, when you do not understand your temperament and how you come across, this will cost you a great deal. I'll share with us shortly, okay, how that cost me. So let's talk about courage versus confidence. Remember, I said it, that if you're not courageous, you can't get things started, okay? You don't need to be confident before you start. You need to be courageous before you start. But then after starting, you now need to be smart enough to build your confidence. And your confidence rests on something. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. If you're confident that you can get something done, that's self-efficacy. Okay? And that comes from you having the skills to get things done. So the scariest moment is always just before you start. And as I said, if you're smart and you're learning, after that, things can only get better. So if you think about some of the things you tried to start and you couldn't start, you want to ask yourself, was I courageous enough? I have done some projects in my life that, I would feel, are you sure you can do this? But then I would say, no, I can. Okay. I just developed that courage. I say, what's the worst case scenario? Right? And then I just take the step. But I always, always learn. Okay. And that makes the difference for me. So let me talk about what we call the concept of negative work. I did physics a bit. I was a science student. And in physics, there is what we call the concept of negative work. But we're not talking physics this morning. Okay, we're talking productivity. Now, when we don't learn, showing up starts to deplete our brand. It's important to take this seriously, because some people feel, oh yes, I may not know it, I'll just start anyhow. Remember I said you should be courageous enough to start, but you need to be smart enough, as I said, to learn the dynamics of whatever it is you're doing, because it's so crucial. There is that time that your effort is even reducing from your result instead of making it better. So it is important that we get better at whatever it is that we're doing, so that the concept of negative work does not affect us. Yes, I'm always excited to talk about temperament. And I always say, it pays to know your tendencies. Wow, it pays to know your tendencies. Some people look at their backyard and they see abandoned projects, and yet they haven't sat down to say, I think I have a tendency for losing my enthusiasm after I have started a project. You should know yourself, and your temperament will determine your behavior. This is your wiring. It's how you're wired. If you're extroverted, you're more outgoing, you build relationships quickly, You make promises faster, okay? But if you're introverted, you're that person who you just like to keep to yourself. You're not outgoing. You're not action-oriented. Now, this is why I want to talk about this. I was so introverted and I wasn't action-oriented. How do you get things done without taking action? Remember I said before, you're not even needed to just take action. We need you to take massive action so that you can gain traction. If you don't understand what your tendencies will be, you really will not be able to manage yourself. So my encouragement to you is take a test. I'm sure many of us have done that. We know if we're introverted or extroverted. Now, someone who's extroverted, of course, as I said before, can quickly make relationships, but sometimes they don't sustain those relationships. Okay? They may quickly connect to people, but sometimes it's just on the surface. They don't follow through. So you go and search for the weaknesses that come with your temperament so that you will understand how those things are affecting your ability to get things done. I was broke for so many years in my life, until I discovered that I wasn't socializing enough. Thanks to my temperament, I wasn't action-oriented. And I'll still share a bit more. There was a quote I saw by John Wooden, late coach John Wooden. I really value this man's contribution to the knowledge world. I saw this quote where he said, "Be quick, but don't hurry. If you're not quick, you can't get things done. Be quick, but don't hurry. If you're not quick, you can't get things done." This transformed my life because I wasn't getting things done. And it's because I was laid back. All right. And I remember that at some point I was supervising on a team and I had someone who was my direct report. This woman was fully extroverted. Before you were done giving her an instruction, she was halfway through the door, And then, of course, she had missteps and all of that. So we had issues a lot. While I'm still sitting down and analyzing, she's already sending messages and, inviting people for a program. So what happened? One day I sat down and I asked myself, what makes this woman tick? What makes her so bubbly? What's it about her? And I found out that because she's extroverted, she's just action-oriented and it comes to her naturally. Now, there's a balance to this. Remember I said she wouldn't think things through before taking action. If you're introverted, your strength is that you're detailed, you're calm enough to think things through. But the challenge with that is you can take all of the time, and that was me. Can you imagine that someone would call me and say, Tinu, can you come to our office? Let's have a discussion. We need some kind of training. And probably because I told myself, I just want to stay in my office today. I don't want to go anywhere. That wouldn't fit in my agenda. Just think about that. Someone calls you for an opportunity. And then I'll ask a question like, do you think tomorrow will be too late? Can I come tomorrow? I don't do that anymore, okay? Because there are those opportunities we miss because we are not spontaneous. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't stick to your agenda, but it only means that when opportunities come up, you strike and you take action. I highlighted this, don't hurry, because I'm sure we're familiar with the time matrix that talks about things that are important, things that are urgent, not important. At this level, I'm sure we are. One of the things I found out about that matrix is that when things are important but not urgent, we usually don't have that sense of urgency about them, okay? But those things are important. We end up hurrying at the end of the day when we allow important things to become urgent. We end up being in a hurry if we don't do what we should do in good time, okay? And that in itself can put us in a lot of problems. So it's important that when things you feel certain things are very important, create a sense of urgency about them and do them now. Do them now so that you don't have to hurry. What did John Wooden say about being in a hurry? He said, if you hurry, you make mistakes. If you hurry, you fall victim to people who are trying to take from you, what you already have. Have you ever seen someone who's desperate to make money? They lose more money. You don't do things when you're desperate. You do things when you see the need. You can forecast that there will be a need for something. You get it done then. All right? I want to believe you're getting some things. So let's talk about the enemy called average. At some point in my life, I was okay to be average. I would even say it. I'm just an average student. When I was a student, I said that many times. I'm just an average student. And I didn't know what it meant to be average. Now, I bought a book yesterday. It's called The 10X Rule. The 10X Rule. I think I have it somewhere here. Yeah, this is my copy. I have a bookshop. I sell books, but anywhere I see books, I just buy, you know. And then one of the things that this man said is average doesn't work in any area of life. Average does not work in any area of life. In short, when you're average, you can't compete. If you're enjoying a benefit somewhere, maybe you're favored, someone knows you, and they give you an opportunity. The day other people come on board, if you're average, you cannot compete. You won't be favored anymore. Average cannot survive pressure. Okay? Average cannot survive think about economic pressure. If you have an average salary today, is your average salary surviving the pressure? That's what average does. Average keeps us small. And as a matter of fact, when we're average, what you're holding begins to lose value over time. It will get to a point an average person doesn't have anything anymore. Because average, as I said, cannot withstand trouble. Okay? There's that time where we tell people, please don't be so hard on yourself. Yes, you can say, don't be so hard on yourself, but you say it when someone has put in their best and things still did not work out. If you don't have enough, you should be hard on yourself. You know what I've discovered? If you're not hard on yourself today, things will soon be hard. If you're not hard on yourself today, you soon wake up to a life where things are hard. So you don't want to be average. You want to push yourself. I used to be obese. Yeah, I used to be big, and I desired to lose weight. And I remember that then they would say, oh, exercise was the best way. 5 a.m., get up in the morning. What? How easy do you think it is to, get out of bed at 5 a.m. and go out to jog or, do brisk walking? It wasn't easy. But you know what I discovered? I discovered that if I deceived myself, I was planting a seed in my field. And when you plant a seed in your field, be sure it's going to germinate. Okay? One of the things you will say to yourself when you're finding it difficult to get out of bed is, oh, even if I don't do the exercise, I'll still live a healthy life. That's a lie. Okay? And you can lie to people and get away with it, but you cannot lie to yourself and get away with it. I say nobody can survive self-deception. Okay? If you're not doing well in your work today, you don't want to lie to yourself. Maybe you need to increase your earning capacity. Be hard on yourself. Don't settle for being average. Some years back, maybe 2 years ago, someone needed a job. And this person said, just help me. I need a job. I just want 50,000 naira. I know myself, my expenses are not that much. And if I just get 50,000 naira, I'll be fine. Think about that. If that person got that job at that time, what do you think would be happening right now? So that's the problem. Many of us have the average mindset. And one of the reasons people don't push themselves to do more is because they don't want to take more responsibility. The idea in this book, the 10X rule, is saying you need more success than you need. You need more. You need massive success. It is when you have massive success that you have enough, and then you have more than enough. I hope this makes sense to you. It really made a lot of sense to me, and I was able to connect so many dots in my head because I remember at the point in my life that I told myself, I don't want to be average anymore. Why should I call myself average? There are people who are exceptional. That's what I should be. When I do my work, it should be exceptional. And I think I made a personal promise that I wasn't going to be average anymore. I have a fashion designer, let me share with you. And someone had referred her to me when my fashion designer was relocating from Abuja. And I said, please, I need someone who can sew well. All right. And she said, I know many people who can sew well, but I'll give you someone who can sew well, but is also reliable. Wow. Have they said reliability is the best ability? I believe that. So she connected us. This was 4 years ago. And the lady started making dresses for me. Do you know, everywhere I go wearing the dresses that she made, I would have people say, please stop. Can I take a picture? Please, hope you're not offended. Can I take a picture of this dress? And that has been like the norm. And I remember going to CBN for a training, and one of the people, one of the organizers, after I left, I told my colleague that, please call that lady, tell her to snap her dress and send it. I want to make that dress for my wife. Wow. Now, I was somewhere busy. I was doing something, so I felt I'll get to that later. Then my colleague called me, Tinu, we are waiting for the picture. I said, oh, really? Did you say wow in your mind? Now, that's how exceptional that lady is. Being exceptional means that you put that touch that touches people, the touch that makes a difference, okay? And many people can do it. Many of us can do it. But the people who do it are the ones who determine not to be average. Let me round off on this. Do you know what I've discovered? Exceptional opens more doors. Exceptional brings more opportunities. When I work, I always want a case where someone will say, please, can you come again? And I remember that Tony Robbins had also shared at some point that when you're an entrepreneur, when you're, you're working anywhere, you want to do your work in a way that you have raving fans. It said, let your raving fans market your product for you. When people rave about the work that you do, they are the ones who would bring you opportunities. And this has been the case for my fashion designer. Because on many occasions, people say, please give me her number. And they call her. And she's so busy, she doesn't even have enough time to get that work done. Have you gained something today? What are we talking about? We're talking about improving our ability to get things done, mastering the art of getting things done. And some of the things I've shared with you is the fact that if we do not maximize time, indeed, we are wasting life. If 2024 has gone by and you cannot touch something that you have achieved, then you need to really, really do something about your habits, okay? Remember also that when you're talking about productivity, you're asking yourself, in concrete terms, how have I grown? Have I developed my leadership ability? Have I developed new skills? Okay, have I increased my earning capacity? Have I expanded my network? You need to be able to bring results to the table in a way that others can identify with. Have you met people who tell you, I'm really working hard? Yes, I know I'm working hard, but they don't have results to show for it. Maybe they don't understand productivity. Okay, so we've also talked about the progress stoppers. Can anybody type in the chat box the progress stoppers that I shared with us? If someone can do that so that we all can remember where we're coming from. So we've talked about the progress stoppers. We've talked about the difference between being courageous and being confident. And that as a matter of fact, if you're not learning, your ability to get things done will not work. So yes, I said I was going to share with us a formula for getting things done. And there I have it. IC multiplied by F multiplied by QE will help you get things done. Now, who can guess what? Let me ask, what's F? What's F? F is easy. Anyone who gets F, okay? Who can guess what F is here? While I wait for you, can you guess what F is? I'm choosing F because we mentioned F. I know, Miss Happiness. If not that you were in Indonesia, I would have sent you a book. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Team, thank you from Joss. F is focus. All right. Okay. So getting things done. I see. What I see now? I see here means inner clarity. Inner clarity. Understanding what you want. Someone was asking me a question. Is it possible for someone to not know what they want? It's very possible. It's possible. When you check your track record of how many things you have started and stopped, do you think it speaks that you know what you want really? Okay. Inner clarity. Yes, we got it right. We need focus. And then we need QE. What's QE? Quality energy. Quality energy. Okay. One of the things I learned from Robin Sharma, Robin is one of my mentors, is how to protect your cognitive bandwidth. I would say when you wake up in the morning, you're usually fresh with energy and you have a mind at that state that can achieve a lot of things. You can think on many levels, you know, and prefer solutions to problems. So, but the moment you start to engage, shall God help you if the first thing you hit is social media, you start to deplete your cognitive bandwidth. And it also eats into your quality of energy. Okay, these are things that we need to understand. Some people have woken up so determined in the morning, but by evening, they still did not get anything done. What do you think happened? Okay, they probably engaged the day in a very unproductive way, spending their quality energy on things with no future in them. That's a different discussion altogether. Someone said, if everything occupying your time are things that have no future in them, it's going to be disastrous. Okay? So it's really important that we are clear, we're sure we know what it is we want, and then you have unbroken focus. We've already talked a lot about focus. And you attack your work with quality energy. You engage your work with quality energy. Okay? All right. So let's talk about clarity. Clarity is deeply rooted in getting our priorities straight. Clarity is deeply rooted in getting our priorities straight. Some questions you may want to reflect on is, based on your current reality, what is the best use of your energy right now? Based on your current reality, okay? Sometimes some people are trying to get something done that they don't have capacity for, okay? Yes, we say think big, but when you think big, you need to remember that you need to act small. You need to act on things that are within your control. If you're trying to get things done that are not within your control, you're going to put a lot of pressure on yourself and on the people around you. It can even strain your relationships. So remember what I said before about the shiny object syndrome. If you're trying to do something, look for the smallest possible way, something within your control that if you start, you would finish, then build on that. For me, I think that's what makes us successful. Okay? So you don't want to waste your energy trying to do things that you don't have capacity for. You want to ask yourself, what's my reality? Okay? And what should your priorities be for 2025? 2024 has given some of us hard knocks, okay? And suddenly we woke up to say, oh, wow, so the world can change so much in just a year. Now, based on what we experienced in 2024, we should really ask, what should our priorities be? Is it growth? For some of us, is it to expand our network? Okay? Is it to re-strategize? Some people need to start businesses, for example. I'm going to share a program with us later. So we must have clarity. I love this quote about energy from Albert Einstein. This is the second time I'm touching on physics, but this is not physics. Albert Einstein says, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want with quality energy, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is philosophy. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Okay? Everything is energy. You must match your dreams with quality energy. Quality. So think again about it. The things you tried to achieve in 2024, the things you tried to get done. What quality of energy did you take to those things? The last webinar, I shared the 4 dimensions of the human being, where I said our energy comes from 4 places. You have physical energy, you have emotional energy, you have mental energy, and you have spiritual energy. Okay? There are things you do that boost your energy on those 4 levels. And I think I touched on emotional energy, in that webinar. So have you gained something useful today? Because yes, we have come almost to the end of our session today, trying to master our ability to get things done. So this is the program I said I was going to share with us. It's called Enterprise Expertise. That's the program. And what we're exploring under it is mastering the art of successful entrepreneurship. This is for people who want to start businesses, either social enterprise or business enterprise. You want to learn. Learning makes the difference. We'll be talking about value creation, money sense. Wow. Strategy essentials, and then of course, how do you develop the entrepreneurial mindset? I was talking to someone about this program, and the person said, Tinuke, Nigeria is tough. When I finish attending this course, how will I get the money to start my business? Think about that. I said, oh, so that's how you're thinking. So are you even sure that you need massive money to start what you want to start? Many people don't learn, so they don't even know what they need. I remember attending a course at Lagos Business School, and they said one of the two problems you can have if you're starting a business is either too much money or too little money. Okay, some people think business is all about having big capital. But of course, when we learn, as I said, it always makes a difference. Okay. I want to inspire us this morning with the story of someone that I respect a lot, who at some point in his life used to dig wells, used to do manual labor. He had dropped out of school. But at some point, this person discovered that success is more of an inside-out game than it is outside in. It's not the problems in the world that are stopping you from succeeding. It is what you make up your mind to do, how determined you are from within yourself, the picture that you see. I put up a model last week. The model says, see, act, assess. See, okay? See a picture of the future. What do you see for your future? Many people do not look ahead. Many people don't dream. They don't have that picture. We say a vision is the preferred picture of the future. If you ask some people now, 5 years from now, where do you want to be? Some people don't think about it. They just happen on their day and live day to day. Okay? So this person saw a picture different from this and was able to rearrange his life, re-strategize, learn, and he changed his life. I'm talking about Brian Tracy. I'm sure we know Brian. Brian is a very popular man, okay? And this is it. He said, success is an inside-out game. He discovered this. He has written over 80 books, and he said this: take all the training you can get. One good idea is all you need to save yourself years of hard work. How many of us believe this? If you believe, please type in, I believe. One good idea something that just occurs to you. I can do this. I can be different from what I am today. You know, a new year delivers to you that opportunity to start differently. A whole 365 days gives you that opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Okay, but you need to be determined. You need to be determined. I was at some point in my life where I just didn't like my life condition. Okay, I was too broke for comfort. I didn't like my life condition. But I put a picture. I've also dropped out of school before. Okay, but I put a picture. I just created, nothing stops you from creating a picture. It's your imagination. Let it go wild. You're not going to pay to dream. You're not going to pay, okay, to imagine a great future for yourself. You should do it. And when you see a beautiful picture, it is easier for you to act towards it. Do you know that the picture in your head drives your day? The picture in your head drives you away from certain things. There are some things I don't do because I ask myself, how will this contribute to the picture that I see? There are some opportunities I don't take because they will derail me. I have a picture. I have somewhere I want to be. So it's important that as the year is running down, we make up our minds what to do in the coming year. One of the things I want to encourage you to do is to increase your earning capacity. It won't harm you. Having more money will not harm you, really, if you have character. Some people are afraid to have more money, okay? They feel, oh, it would maybe derail them or something. But no, if you have too much, you can start to give to other people. You can set up a foundation, right? I was chatting with my friend who runs the NGO when we were talking a few days back. He was sharing with me how he had gone to a village in Akwa Ibom. That's where he runs his NGO. And he met a woman who has a 14-year-old girl. And this girl has glaucoma. And the doctor had told them that she's just one tiny step to being completely blind if they did not operate on her. One tiny step. So he looked at the woman and said, what have you been waiting for? The woman said, I don't have money. You know, asked her a question. If this girl goes completely blind, how will you live your life? How will you support her? So he told his staff that, see, my next month's salary, please debit it for this girl's surgery. He has more than enough. And as soon as he said that, I said, oh, please, before I leave, give me your bank account. Let me also give something towards that girl's, surgery. I don't know her. But I was able to do that because I have more than I need to consume. So it will not harm you if you set a big target for yourself to increase your earning capacity, develop more skills that can attract more money. And remember, our keyword for this session today is what? In concrete terms, what will you be doing in 2025? I think I want to stop on this note. And I want to say thank you so much for your time and attention. Have you gained something? Do you have questions? If you want to ask a question, I can unmute you so that you can ask your question. A brief recap of what we have done is to talk about, did anybody type in the progress stoppers? Did anybody type that? I cannot see it in the chat box. Nobody did. I hope you were following. I hope you gained something. So let me go back again to those 4 progress stoppers that I shared with us before. The first one I said was, let me just go there so that we can see again what we have covered. Waiting to feel confident before you start. Okay, and we said you should not wait to feel confident. You need more courage to start, but you have to be smart enough to learn as you go along the way. And if you're not learning, showing up will result in negative work. Okay, it will deplete your brand rather than help you. So you must learn. Again, we talked about broken focus. People do not succeed more because of broken focus than because of economic challenges. Why do you think there's still so many entrepreneurs, okay, in the world, in spite of all the economic challenges? Because they're focused. That's what they want to do. Okay. And while some people have the shiny object syndrome, where they keep pursuing something that they feel will be bigger, other people have the mindless digital consumption, which is the bane of the modern world today. People get lost in the digital world, looking for what is not lost. Sometimes spend hours on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, pursuing comments and arguments that will not add value to them. That's not a good way to spend one's life. I'm not saying run away from social media. I'm just saying if there is no future in something, you don't want to spend your time on it. Okay. And then I talked about mismanaged temperament. You want to understand your tendencies. Why do I start and stop? Some people get excited at the beginning of a project, but that excitement just wanes off as soon as they start. So if you understand this about yourself, you want to surround yourself with the people that will help you keep your fire burning. Okay. And some people are too laid back to take action. You don't need to remain the way you are. Personal growth means that you do something about how you're wired. If someone says, for example, I'm shy, you cannot stay like that. I used to be shy, so shy, I couldn't do one-on-one conversations. But today, I'll face a crowd of 1 million people. All right, I worked on it. So what are you going to work on in 2025? Do we have questions? Yes, Dr. Boma, yes. We also talked about the enemy called average, where I said, average is a problem. In short, someone said the biggest risk you can take in your life is to be average. The biggest risk you can take is to be average because you get knocked off. Competition will come, trust me. Okay? And when you're average, it's just a matter of time before you become irrelevant. Have you also noticed that when they want to lay off in an organization, the average people make the list quickly because people are just tolerating them? How many times do people complain when you get your work done? It's because it's average. And I shared the story about my fashion designer who's exceptional 4 years running. She will not disappoint and she gets better. Okay, now she's expanded her business. She holds exhibitions. She sews very beautiful things. She takes and she sells all. And as people are complaining about not having opportunities, she's saying, I have more opportunities than I can even attend to.
This, they will see the reason behind whatever you decide to suggest for you as your dream. So I think I'm also with him, please, ma. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Please, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, so I'll definitely, work on that. And yes, we have a feedback from Engineer Ibi from JOS, and it says, yeah, sure, the present scenario is tough, but can still be navigated around. But it really shows the discipline and the focus to keep at it until the goal is achieved. And I'll clap to that. So remember what I shared before when I said, if you want to get things done, you need your head, and that gives you focus. And then again, you need your hands and feet that you use to take action. And then again, you need your spine. Your spine is the self-discipline in this case, okay? And you need persistence. That's your heart. You need all of these to get things done. All right. So I think that with those contributions, we're going to call it a day. And as I said, I'll share the video and also ensure that we have the permission to share it. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time and attention. I trust that you would use the lessons to do something wonderful in the incoming year. Thank you, Ogasali, also for your feedback. I can see that. All right. So we end the session now, and I'll say bye for now.